What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out Letter Tycoon from Squirmy Beast Game. This is for 2 to 5 players, ages 8+, so it'll take about 30 to 45 minutes to play. And in Letter Tycoon, this is the third game from Squirmy Beast Games. I really enjoyed their first 2 games, Boomtown Bandits and What the Food. And in this game, they attempt to create a word game, but not just any word game, because it's going to add an economic bit into the game, where you're going to be able to purchase the rights to different letters and potentially profit off those letters when other people use those letters to spell words. There's also some cool letters in there that will have special abilities, but what am I talking about? Let's open it up and I'll tell you. Alright, then we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Letter Tycoon. First and foremost, we have our handy dandy rule booklet. It's about 8 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples, all the stuff you like to see in a rule booklet, and it is just about a flawless rule booklet. There's nothing you're going to find wrong with this rule booklet. Very, very well done. So in Letter Tycoon, this is your typical word game where you're going to be trying to create different words with cards you're going to have your hand, and also in this instance cards that are going to be on the board. But the kicker is there are going to be special patents for letters you can get out there, so when other people use those letters, you will get money. Not make much sense to you now? Well, I'll show you the components we'll get in the gameplay and it'll make plenty of sense. So first and foremost, you're going to get your money. I only have a little bit of money set out, but there are these really nice wooden nickel-esque components that are going to be in increments of $1 and $3. You're going to have a little scorecard right here, which will tell you exactly how much money you're going to score based on how long your word is, and also if you earn a stock, which I'll get to in a second. And on the back side, it shows you exactly how many of each letter is in the game, so very useful little cheat sheet card. I mentioned the stocks. Don't get too used to them, because if you're like me, you're not going to see too many of them. But stocks are points you're going to get towards the end of the game. They can't be used to purchase patents, but they're just going to be points that you can earn throughout the game for making longer words, if you can make longer words. If you can make a word that is at least 6 letters, you'll gain a stock, and the longer the word is, more stocks you're going to get. Next, you're going to have these cards right here, which are pretty self-explanatory. This is the 2-player goal, 3-player goal, 4-player goal, 5-player goal. This is essentially just how many patent points you're going to need in order to trigger the end of a game. So what is a patent point? Well, patent points, or patent dollars, are going to be these dollars right here, which are on all the little patents. Because all of these cards out here, these smaller micro cards, are going to be patents that you can potentially purchase. And how that works is once you create a word and use a letter in a word. So let's just say you made the word dog, D-O-G. If you had enough money, you could potentially buy the patent for the letter G, since you used that G, which now means you pay the money to the bank, and whenever someone uses the letter G, you are going to earn $1 from the bank. So in addition, and this is also going to count towards 3 points at the end of the game, so purchasing patents is a fantastic idea. So there's going to be patents, letters A through Z, but there are a couple unique patents out there which will give you a special ability. So for instance, the V, you may build 2 words instead of 1 on your turn. That's a really good one. Z, you may add an S to the end of your turn. That one is really fantastic, but you have to use the letter Z, which is going to be difficult, not only because it's hard to use, but also because there's only 1 in the entire deck. The X, you may use 1 letter card twice. That one really comes in handy. And as you can see, there's some other various different special abilities. They're the white ones right there. So last but not least, you are going to get your cards, and you are going to start off your hand with 7 cards in your hand, and you're also going to have 3 cards out there a la, say, Texas Hold'em Poker. You're going to decide who goes first, and they'll get this little blimp right here, and it's going to stay in front of that person. That's just to signify who went first, because this is one of those games where each player is going to get the same amount of turns at the end of the game, and then you're going to try and create a word using the letters in your hand and also the 3 letters out on the board. And it can be as long as you want, but it has to be at least 3 letters in order for you to score anything. So you can't just make the word as. So let's go ahead and we'll test this out and see what I got. So we got S-H-K down here, S-E, I can make, ooh, this is embarrassing. This is about to be embarrassing. All right. So I could make she, shast, fee, fa, fe, be, beak. Beak. Yes, I'm going to make B-E-A-K. You know what? I'll use S, and I'll make the word beaks. So I have successfully made the word beaks, which is assuming that it is not incorrect, which I don't think it is, which I'll get into that in a second, I would now score $3. So I would get $3, and then I would have the option to buy the letters B, E, A, K, or S. Now, S is going to be too expensive. B, earn double if your word begins and ends in a vowel. That's a promising one. I like to get the special ability ones, and B is not too bad a word. So you know what? I might go ahead and purchase this pattern right here, send it over to my side, and we'll just pretend that this is my side over here. And then I would trade in $3, get $1 back. All these letters that I used would go into the discard pile. I would draw back up to 7 cards, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it would be the next player's turn, and they would replenish these 2 right here. So he would have T, H, and D. So when it comes back to my turn, though, if I were to begin and end in vowels, so if I made, for instance, the word I, instead of just getting 1 point, I would gain 2 points. And obviously, that's a very beginner's example. Now, you're probably asking, what happens if you misspell a word? And the game doesn't actually penalize you too terrible for it, which I do kind of like. If you misspell a word, essentially what happens is you just take it back, and I guess you get to swap out one of your cards. You lose your turn, though, and the other person who called it out is going to gain $1, not from you, but from the bank, I do believe. That's how it works. So, back to these cards over here. You're going to continue going around until someone reaches this number in patents. And now, hopefully that now makes more sense to you. So, for instance, if you purchase the right to the letter E, you would get $10, whereas I, right now, only have 2 of the $45 I would need to end the game in a 2-player game. But you're going to go back and forth and around the table, spelling words, gaining patents, getting money when other people make various different words. There's one last card that I forgot to mention, which is the letter Q. And the Q is the only special card in this deck right here, whereas if you're able to successfully use a Q, you will double the amount of money that you earn. But other than that, it's a pretty straightforward little word game with patents and all sorts of cool stuff. You will continue to play until you reach the magic number listed on whichever card you're using, depending on the number of players, at which point everyone will have the same amount of turns. You will end the game by tallying up how many points in stock you have, how many patents points you have, so these numbers right here, and also how much money you have in hand, and whoever has the most is going to be the winner of Letter Tycoon, and that in a nutshell is how the game is played. Almost forgot one big thing, which is if you ever get into the situation where you can't create a word. So let's just say you're looking at your hand, and you're looking at the stuff down here, and you're like, man, I can't really create a word, or I don't want to create a word. What you can do is you can discard as many cards as you want out of your hand and draw up that many of those cards, but you are also going to lose your entire turn. But I did forget to mention that, and that is a big aspect of the game, potentially, if that arises. Alrighty then, Letter Tycoon from Squirmy Beast Games. What are my fellows? Let's go to the pros, let's go to the cons. First on the con side, the game's not going to be for everybody for, well, one giant glaring reason, which is a word/spelling game. And if you don't like word/spelling games, just because they're not your cup of tea, this one probably is not going to change your mind, even though it does add a really cool mechanism with the patents. But if you just don't like spelling and words in your games because, well, that's kind of like a little bit like work or doing schoolwork, then you're going to want to look elsewhere. Also, another thing is they do try to fix the issue of, you know, that these games tend to have, which is someone has a very large vocabulary, is a very good speller, they're probably going to crush you 9 times out of 10. They try to mitigate that with the patent system and with the special ability cards and all that cool stuff. And while it does succeed to a certain extent, if someone is leaps and bounds ahead of you in that sort of thing, they're probably still going to beat you 9 times out of 10, which is unfortunate, but that's nearly impossible to fix, to be honest with you, especially in a spelling/word type game. The last con I have, and I'm not really sure if it's a con, is that I wonder about the balance of all the special ability cards. I really enjoy the special ability cards with the different patterns that gives you the special abilities, but some seem way more powerful than other ones, but that might balance itself out over repeated gameplays, which this game eventually probably will get from me. Now, I played it quite a few times now, and I really do enjoy it, and it's going to go on my shelf because it is a lot of fun. And I'll put it this simply. If you do not mind or /dislike word games, this is one you absolutely need to check out. There's a couple big reasons why. First and foremost, top to bottom, this game is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous components, gorgeous box insert. Love the graphic design, love the artwork. The gameplay is fun and quick and simple. This is a very, very simple game, and I really do like that. And I feel like this really sets itself up well as a fantastic gateway game in that aspect, because really it is an extremely easy game to learn and to teach, and it's not going to be too daunting for people who don't even play games. Like, once you say, oh, it's a little bit like Texas Hold'em meets Scrabble, kind of, they'll be like, oh, I know how that works. Oh, I see those cards out there, so I can use those cards. Anybody can use those cards. You'd be like, yeah, when it's your turn, you can use those cards. And you have the letters in your hand, and you're going to make that. And then you just explode their brain by saying, yeah, but you have this money now, and you can buy the rights to these letters, and then when someone else uses it, you'll gain money. And I actually had this happen with someone who'd never played any games before. It was actually kind of cool that she got to play this as one of the first games she ever got to play, and it was just like, it exploded her brain. She was like, what? So now whenever anybody uses this letter, I get money? And I was like, yeah. She's like, that's really cool. It's not going to scare off new gamers. It is gamey enough that gamers are going to enjoy it. It's a fun word game. I mean, there's not really too much to fault about this game, unless you absolutely hate word games. Absolutely check out Letter Tycoon. It plays good with 2, it plays good with 5. Every number in between, I do enjoy. That is Letter Tycoon from Squirmy Beast Game, a really enjoyable word game that you need to check out. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below, and in the comments below, let me know, word games, are they your sort of thing? I feel like the best way to answer this question for me was to think about how many word games I actually have in my collection. I probably have a collection ranging from, I don't know, 400 to 500 games. And I think I only really have maybe 2 word games that I played and that I have. You know, I got a bunch of crap over here that never gets played, like I think I got Wheel of Fortune or something over there, which would be technically a word game, but most likely once I play that, I'm going to get reviewed it. So I feel like I do enjoy word games, but they're not something I go out of my way to play. But let me know in the comments below. Word games, are they your cup of tea? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
That was the review for Letter Tycoon. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bowers Game Corner.